John Fury has no respect for anybody. He's an embarrassment to the Fury family. He's an embarrassment to the travelling community. I'd love to punch the living daylights out of him.
Why didn't Conor Benn have a discussion with Eddie before he left? I think I'm the newest face of Matchroom.
Dave Allen, what a hard man. Oh my God, that man's a Rocky story.
When they were whipping me, I didn't move. You won't break me. Me waiting my turn took 24 years. Perhaps somebody in the Home Office can do the right thing.
Hello and welcome to Playbook Boxing. I'm Charlotte Daly. I'll be your host alongside Spencer Oliver. And today in the studio we have newly crowned British and Commonwealth champion Bilal Fawaz and former professional fighter Joe Egan. Guys, thank you for joining us. How are you both doing?
Pleasure is mine. It's a lovely appearance to be here. I feel great. What about you?
I'm delighted, Bilal. Sitting next to a great champion and to be interviewed now by another former great champion and Charlotte herself as well. Thank you.
Look, Bilal, we'll start with you because you're coming off that win. You might not have a British passport yet, but you do have the British belt now. How does it feel to finally have your hands on it?
Long time coming. I knew it was mine. I just needed to go get it. If you know you're worth something, no matter what happens, you will eventually get it. So I knew those belts were mine. Somebody was holding it for me.
Bilal, you've always been waiting for that opportunity. You're one of those guys that goes, just give me the shot. Whoever it's against, I'll fight them. I just want that opportunity. You got that opportunity against Junaid Boston. It was a controversial draw, but you righted the wrongs of that last contest and got the victory in that one. Then you get Ishmael Davis. You come up against Ishmael Davis, who's coming off a good win himself, and you go, it's another fight where you go, he may just start favourite going into this one, but you had other ideas. We talked about this off air, didn't we, with Joe as well, when you're talking about the mindset of someone and, and all that. Talk to us a little bit about your mindset and, what gets you over the line each time.
The level, the quality and the state of mind that I have, everyone has it. It's just most people don't know how to tap into it, okay? I get more motivated when I get tired. I want to get tired. I want to see how I perform under pressure. And I can tell you, when you feel pain, right, people quit. When you feel pain, that's not the time where you quit. That's the time you push further. So when I feel like, okay, well, it's getting difficult, I knuckle down and I keep going, I keep going. I'm best friends with pain.
I think we saw that against Ishmael Davis. We again were talking off air about how you come to life in the second half of the fight as well. But you were talking to Ishmael during the fight. It wasn't a few words here or there, but in the 6th, 7th, you were actually having full-blown conversations with him.
We were having a conversation.
What were you saying to him in those rounds?
If I can recollect, I said, "Are you tired? Are you tired?" And he was smiling. I said, "Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling?" And I said, "You're British champion, right?" And I told him, "You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it because of the way you're fighting." Like, I needed something more tangible, something more worthy. But he's a really good guy, but it's just boxing. When you're in the ring, you perform.
So we're talking about that psychological battle that a fighter has, and Joe, you'll understand this as well. When you're getting into those penultimate rounds, when you get into 10, 11, 12, when the physicalities leave your body and it becomes a mental battle, but that mental battle is with yourself. And that's where people come undone when they get to that stage when I see a fighter and all of a sudden you see him blow a gasket and he gets tired. You go, because he's lost the battle in his own mind. That's where you're very good, because I was saying to you, where we were in there and I'm going, round 10, I've left no stone unturned. I'm hitting him. I think, I'm knackered, but he's got to be tired. So I'm talking to myself and like having that battle with myself inside the brain. Now, where you're different is that you do it. So you're having that battle, but you do it vocally with your opponent, which is stealing their soul in many ways. So you do it like where we're battling with ourselves inside our own bodies, telling yourself, listen, I've got it. He's going to break before I break. You do it to your opponent, which is soul destroying.
Of course.
And I saw that on Saturday night.
Yeah, the thing is, right, by any means necessary, you have to win. By any means. You don't cheat, but if you can find a way to penetrate their mentality. And I said to Ishmael, I will incarcerate his willpower.
Great saying.
It's a great.
Great
I
saying.
did that.
Yeah.
And
Psychological warfare. Muhammad Ali was the greatest.
exactly, I was doing. I did what Muhammad Ali was doing. Muhammad Ali spoke to his opponent while sparring. You know,
When Muhammad Ali got hit, and he was in an era with recognisable, some of the greatest heavyweight punchers of all time, George Foreman, Ernie Shavers. I think Ernie Shavers even more than Mike Tyson. And Muhammad Ali would get hit by their best shot. And these men could put you asleep for a week. Don't mind for 10 seconds. They would put you asleep for a week. And he would just look at them and he goes, "Is that the best you've got? That's the best you got." Like we spoke about Steve Foster, Steve the Viking earlier on, when he fought Winky Wright. And he hit Winky with the best punch he'd ever thrown, you know, for the world title. And Steve Foster, a great British and European champion, the Viking from Salford. And I sat in the bar talking to Steve and in Vegas. And he said, "Hit him on my best punch, Joe." And he just looked at me and goes, "Quit now, Steve." That just takes it out of you, you know. And I was never a puncher. I could take a shot, but I was never a puncher. But when you take a man's best punch and you walk through it, even though it hurts you, because anybody that tells you the punches don't hurt, they're telling you lies. You know, they all hurt. Some hurt more than others.
Yep.
And it's funny, the knockout punch you don't even feel. Because when my dad used to call me for my runs in the morning, he said, "Drag yourself out of bed, son." He says, "Like dragging yourself off the deck when you get put down." I said, "Dad, no one's going to put me down." I said, "My chin's granite, my legs are strong." And I remember I was boxing in the Acropolis Games and I got a bronze medal. And I got put asleep in round 2. I mean, out cold. I didn't even see the punch. My left eye was badly damaged. My left eye was closed. First round, gone through it. I was happy to see the end of the first round because I wasn't supposed to be allowed to fight because of the damage in my eye. But my heart ruled my head and pleaded with the doctor to let me fight. So I got through the first round and I was in the bronze medal stage. If I'd have won, I'd have got into the silver medal, you know, into the final. But round 2, he caught me with a punch. I didn't see it coming and I'm lying on the deck. And I was moving my arms, lying flat on my back, moving my arms. And I was putting the bed sheets over me. I was asleep in bed. And this is fact. Well, it's a horrible thing to talk about, but I never felt the punch. And I'm pulling my arms like this, trying to pull the bed sheets over me. My 2 corner men, Mickey Hawkins and Jerry Hanna, they thought I was calling them into the ring. I wasn't. I was asleep in my bed.
wow.
Pulling the bed sheets over me. And I turned onto my left-hand side, left eye completely closed, my right eye partially open, and I saw the referee go 5. And I thought, what's he doing in my bedroom?
Oh my
You know,
God.
this is fact. So then I realised, oh my God, I'm on the deck here. So I got myself to my feet. My 2 cornermen were in the ring at that stage because they thought I was calling them into the ring. And I fell into their arms. But I got beat on my feet. I lost to the eventual gold medalist. He won the final. He beat the Dutchman in the final. But I remember phoning my dad. I said, "Dad, it was exactly as you described. Dragging myself out of bed in the morning was like dragging myself off the deck, you know. But I never felt that punch that he put me down with, you know, that knocked me out as such. But it is a hard,
It's a treacherous sport.
It is a hard sport. It's a cruel sport, but it's the greatest sport in the world.
Absolutely, it's very unforgiving, boxing. You know, it's one of those sports that, like you say, there's the highs and the lows and the roller coaster that you have going through that. It's quite insane. But I think that's what draws us to the sport, right? Because it's just one of those sports that you find very difficult. Look, Joe, look, you was, you know, boxing years ago. You're still in it. You're still involved in it. You still want to do it. We can't let it go, can we? It's a drug in many ways. It's just like
it's a drug.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Boxing is the truth because I can tell you, right? If you don't put the work in, you will feel it in the ring.
You get found out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's the
absolutely.
truth. So
My
you
dad used to
can't
say,
cheat.
"The biggest fool is the fool that fools himself." Fail to prepare, be prepared to fail. You know, and boxers are modern day gladiators. You know, we don't go into the arena to kill each other, you know, like the old gladiators used to do in the olden times. But we go in, it's a combat sport, you know, and whether it be Muay Thai, kickboxing, karate, any full contact form of fighting, we're the most respected athletes on the planet because you ask any other athlete, you play football, you play golf, you play tennis, you play basketball, you don't play full contact fighting. And other athletes will say, we have the utmost respect because that walk to the cage, to the mat, to the ring, to fight, the fear that a fighter goes through. And George Foreman said it. And this is one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. It's on a video called Champions Forever. Bilal, if you ever get the chance to watch it, it's beautiful. Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, George Foreman and Joe Frazier. Some of them are not with us any longer, God rest them. But George Foreman, he's saying when he fought Ken Norton, he said, I'm looking across the ring at Ken Norton. He said, the finest specimen of a man I've ever seen in my life. He said he was chiseled. He said, I walked to the centre of the ring. He said, Ken walked to the centre of the ring. He said, I eyeballed Ken. Ken eyeballed me. He said, I was so glad that Ken didn't look down because my knees were shaking.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, this is one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time, saying he was scared. And if that man can say he's scared, why can't other fighters?
Yeah.
You know, we try to make out that we're not, but inside the butterflies, the nerves,
Yeah.
you know, but once you walk to the centre of the ring, you touch gloves, the bell goes, the fear leaves you.
Yeah.
And I always
Once
tell,
you throw
think-
that first punch.
Yeah.
yes.
Do you feel, Joe, that that's why boxers struggle to leave the sport? Because the boxer is the first one to know it, but the last one to accept it, or last one to admit it. And they've always got that itch to scratch. I mean, you're doing it even now still. You're still there and you go, I seen you on there with Big John Fury. And you're like, John, come on, let's do it. Let's get it on. I mean, that never leaves you, Joe, does it? I mean, you would jump in the ring still tomorrow. Like, so the point of this question is, you know, you still feel like you've got that itch to scratch.
Listen, Father Time catches up on us all eventually. But in life, you try and slow Father Time down, you know, and I like to train, but I like to have a reason to train. Some people train because they want to keep themselves fit and healthy. But if you've got a reason to motivate yourself to go to that gym, to push yourself hard, you know, it's a nicer way to train, you know. And if you've got a fight, I'm 60 years of age now. My fighting days are long over. But I still think you've got one fight left in you.
That's the point. That's
Still
the point.
think you do. And when you look at the television and you watch these fighters, I could do that, I could do that. But you can't, you know.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you can. You know, your brain writes a check that your body can't cash.
Great saying.
You know, and it's true. You know, in my mind, I'm still the 21-year-old Joe Egan.
It's like you're testing yourself the whole time. What Bilal was talking about there, you know, with Bilal, with the whole fight process, when you're talking about that mental battle that you're having with yourself and him being very vocal and everything else. You talk about those battles after your career where you're kidding yourself.
It's just a different
that it's still
battle.
there. It's just a different battle, but the same, you know, under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Well, before we go into both of your stories, I just want to go back to your fight on the weekend. One of the things that I noticed was the way that you carried yourself in the build up to the fight, certain mannerisms you had during the fight. You know, you speak incredibly well. The way you said about incarnating his soul or whatever it was. And in the ring as well, there's a bit of like that showboating, that flair to it. It almost made me think a lot of Chris Eubank, the way that you put your words together, even the way that you were holding your arms and you'd skip in at points. It made me think of a Eubank. Who was kind of your inspiration? Is there anything that you've taken from the likes of Chris or other fighters that you wanted to replicate?
I didn't take anything from anyone. It's who I am. I have this persona of being in control. I wrestle with my consciousness to hold it for as long as I can. And the moment you hold your consciousness, you start to exude this kind of control about yourself, how you walk around people, and you start viewing yourself as important.
Did that come from, because you've got you know, a lot of people will know this, but we're going to talk about it again anyway. You come from an incredibly hard background. You know, the hardship there was insane. Where you come from, your journey to coming over here, you know, living in England, 26 years, you were saying, and still not been given citizenship and all that, acceptance and all of that.
Yes.
Your story is character building, man. Do you think that persona, the way you carry yourself, comes from there?
I would say yes. I think so, because I had to survive very, very quickly. I became a man before I was a boy. You know, I didn't have a childhood. I didn't have this family boy playing around. I learned how to cook at the age of 8. I started fending for myself. I didn't have anyone to teach me the ramifications and consequences of my actions. I learned from being burnt. And once I get burnt, it leaves a scar.
Yeah.
And
You've spoken before about growing up in Nigeria, and you've said it there about the fact that you had to become a man when you should have been a child.
yeah.
What do you mean by that? What was it like in Nigeria? What can you tell us that you went through or endured in that part of your life before being trafficked over to the UK?
Well, I tell you, Nigeria is gruesome. It's a very cutthroat environment. You either survive or you drown. It's fairly that way. And sometimes you don't have food. And in Nigeria, if the Bible says spare the rod and spoil the child, right? So that means in Nigeria, they take that literally. So if a child misbehaves, they whip the child severely. Like they whip them with the wires behind the cameras, video wires. That's what they used to whip me. And I got to the point when they were whipping me, I didn't move. I stood there and I said, I know the pain is there, but you won't break me. And it's crazy, right? To stand there and they're whipping you and you don't show any sign of pain. So you're right. You're right. My life, my childhood molded me and shaped me and morphed me into a titan, into a warrior.
And you see that in the performances that you're going, because I know your background, I know what it is. So you're watching you when we're watching on telly, and a lot of people may not know what you're going through mentally. So Joe, you'll understand this because you've done it. You've been in the ring, so you understand the game. But when you're going through that mental warfare that you're having with yourself, I'm looking in round 10, 11, 12, when it's getting tight, like on Saturday night, when you're turning the fight around, you know, he started very well and then you just turn it all around. I go, that's not surprising to me because I know the background and I know that character will come out in you
Exactly.
because that's the ultimate gladiatorial thing that you're doing.
That is who I am. It's not like it has to come out. It's always there, but I'm in control of it. My killer instinct is at my fingertips. It's like when you switch a light on, like the room lights up instantly, right? Mm-hmm. I know where my fire is. I can switch it on and off with an instant. So it's not like I had to go to a deep place for that to come out. Mm-hmm. I was keeping it on the wraps before the time is correct or the time is right. So I have it on a leash.
Ready to use it at any point that you need it.
Exactly. The right time.
Yeah.
The right time. Because you don't jump in a car and drive a car straight away on gear 6. You start from gear 1.
Build up to it.
But that, Joe, that's a strong quality to have as a boxer, isn't it? Because we all go to that dark place, and you know when you like to say you're asking yourself questions, and if you have left that stone unturned, you've missed a sparring session or you've missed a run, them doubts then creep in, and that takes over you, and that stills your own soul.
Yeah.
But the quality you've got there is like above and beyond, because there's a level to everything.
Yes.
You know, we've got a pain threshold level where if one fighter will quit, you know, and another fighter will just continue. And, you know, we talked about Cole Froch, didn't we? And we go that he's that sort of character. You go that he'll go to a deepest, darkest place.
Carl
but
Froch,
you're that sort of guy.
Yeah.
You can mention Carl Froch as one of the greatest granite chins, hearts of any fighter. He's up there with the Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was the same. When Ernie Shavers hit him and raised his arms, you know, Ernie Shavers for 8 or 9 seconds believed he was the heavyweight champion of the world. But Larry Holmes dragged himself off the canvas, got up and went on to win. Carl Froch is in one of them elite. Elite. That's the only way you can say elite fighters that can do that.
That comes to here, Joe, doesn't it? But what I'm saying is with this kid, with what he's been through, we've only just touched on it. Charlotte touched on it there. You know, when you think of that background, it's all character building.
What he's been
and mould him into the person he is today.
Yeah.
And the sport that he's gone into, that is just a massive bonus.
The pain in the fight game for Bilal is tame compared to the pain that he's gone through in life.
There you go.
Correct.
You know?
That's right.
So, listen, all credit to you. You've got an incredible career ahead of you. You've achieved so much already, and you've got so much potential to achieve so much more. And like I just said, the pain that you've had in life is
a gift.
Oh my God,
it's a gift.
That's a amazing way to frame that, because most people, it's make or break in those situations. And when we talk about your background and your history in Nigeria, there's other people that have been in similar circumstances that have been in Nigeria and have been treated the way that they've been treated. But normally you have family to fall back on, and
Yes.
that's your support network, and at least you know when you're home that you've got that. But you didn't even have that, did you?
No.
You didn't have a good
No one.
relationship with your parents.
My mom was ruthless. She wasn't kind at heart, you know, and I saw it, and she knew that I saw it, because I've always had this generosity, this empathy and sympathy to anybody. I've always been kind from a young age, but also I was ruthless. If I want something, I won't physically try to get it. I will strategically try to get it. And I quickly realized that there is no difference between me and Joe and Spencer and Charlotte. There's no difference between you and me. Okay, we're all human beings, right? Okay, we have two hands, you know, two legs. There is no difference. We have the same blood, but the only difference that differentiates you from me is pain tolerance. How much pain you can endure. So it's crazy, right? To know you're suffering and not surrender. Oh,
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, them different pain thresholds where people are actually willing to take themselves.
Yeah.
And yours moulding you from the background that you've come from gives you that
So
extra leverage.
what is the full story? Because we've heard it before in snippets, but how did you come to the UK, and what was the story behind getting over here?
well, the story was my mom wasn't treating me nice, so my dad saw, when I was a kid, my dad took me to an uncle. And my uncle said, okay, well, your dad hasn't come back to pick you up in 3 years. We're going to take you to meet your dad in London. I was naive, oblivious to the chicaneries of human beings. And I later realized that I was in a house and I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. I had this feeling that they were going to take me somewhere else. Like they were waiting for maybe a passport or something to take me somewhere.
As in once you got to London?
Yes, from here they were going to take me somewhere, and that would have been it for me. So I ran away because I am woke. I have this sense of awareness. I can feel when something is not right. So I ran out of the house, and I was crying on the streets at the age of 14, and a man saw me and said, "Young man, what's going on? Why are you crying?" Because I was a kid. And I said, I don't want to go back to where I came from. And he said, okay, well, I know where to take you to. He took me to the social services. Since 14 years old, I was a child of the government.
Wow.
I was a number, F1062892.
Still remember it?
Oh, it was labeled to me. And I had to sign at the Home Office once a week for 11, 12 years. And I applied for citizenship. They said no. It took them 11 years for them to answer my case.
How did that make you feel, though, the fact that your father didn't turn up for those 3 months? It's almost a feeling of, does he still want me? You then have the government here. They're not answering your case. Do they want me here? Did you feel lost and a sense of not being wanted or not having a home as such?
I felt that I realized very quickly that you are on this earth alone. There's no two ways about it. You cannot rely on this or that. Like I became a man like that. So I realized that there is no going, there's no coming back, there is nobody coming to save me. I am on my own. And from then on, I started looking out for myself, and everything changed from then, because then I started being aware of people. The kind of, my instincts was very sharp. I can read a person by looking at them.
It's an incredible outlook because, you know, as I said earlier on in the show, we all get dealt these cards and we all come from different places, and some of them worse than others. And yours is extreme. Yours goes to, but your outlook is that you just go, you know what, this is the card that I'm dealt, but I'm going to bet on my life. Whereas other people on the flip side go, you know what, why me? The world's against me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they
They can
can't
go down
move
a dark
on.
path and
they
end
go
up getting
down
in trouble.
because they can't move on. But your outlook is, I mean, Joe, you wouldn't have heard the full story before. I know Bilal, and so I sort of know the story. But it's actually mind blowing, isn't it?
It's heart wrenching.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, very tragic. But the fact that you've come through it, that you're achieving what you're achieving, you're an incredible human being, young man.
Thank you very much.
You know, they say the boxing ring is a lonely place. I was never lonely in the boxing ring. There was always somebody hitting me. You know, so it was never lonely for me. You know, the loneliness. I've experienced loneliness, but I've had 4 younger sisters and 2 younger brothers as a safety net. You know, if ever there was a dark place, I'd always be able to contact one of my younger sisters or one of my younger brothers. You know, and up until 2022, I had my mum and dad as well. God rest both of them. They went to heaven in 2022, and I've always had that sort of support network. You know,
I think you talk about them being your support network, but you were actually their support network, because I always had those stories of when you were younger and you would get bullied and you would get beaten up, but then they would look to turn to your siblings, and instead of letting them get hurt, you would jump back in and say, hit me again.
That's something I had to deal with in life. Bullies, you know, nobody likes a bully, Charlotte. And I got bullied. My dad, like a lot of the Irish, came to the UK to work. Ireland's greatest export has always been its people. You know, we've been all over the world to work. That's the way we invade a country. We go over to work, you know, and we work hard. We're a good work. We relate. People relate to us as hard-working people. You know, the Irish. Strong workforce, you know, still to this day. So my dad, like a lot of before him, came to the UK to work, and we used to come over to visit him as kids. You know, we'd spend a couple of weeks of the school holidays with him, and it would probably be the best time of the year, you know, because for them couple of weeks he'd spoil us. You know, he'd get us loads of sweets and chocolate biscuits and, you know, things that we wouldn't have at home normally, because things were tight when you've got several children to look after. But my mum done a great job on her own, you know. But I was the eldest of 7, and when we came to the UK, I got bullied because I had the Irish accent. So I picked up the English accent to try and mix in, and then when I went home to Dublin, I got bullied in Dublin because I had the English accent. So when the bullies would finish beating on me, rather than hit my brothers and sisters, I would jump back in and say, don't hit them, hit me. You know, I could absorb a punishment. I could absorb pain, you know. So in the boxing ring, it was only one man hitting me. Even if it was Mike Tyson or Lennox Lewis, it was still only one man. When I got battered by the bullies, there was a gang in them, kicking, punching, hit me whatever they had, sticks or bars. They'd hit me whatever they could have in their hands at the time. And it got to the stage where I was immune to the pain, you know. And the boxing helped me become, I'm not saying tough, because you're born tough. You cannot give a person toughness, you know. If you're not born tough, you don't fight, you know. You can give a person the skills to fight by teaching them the skills to fight, but you cannot give them or teach them courage or toughness. It's in you, you know. It's something you're born with.
And I think that's the difference, Joe, between the champions and the challengers, because the challengers are the ones that are extremely talented, but it goes beyond that. Like I say, when you get into those late rounds and that physicality leaves you and it becomes a mental battle, that's not then about skill set. That is about toughness. You're born with that. You can't install that in someone. That's what that's a gift. That's a gift from the big man upstairs.
I would say I agree with you, but I think you can install it in someone.
Yeah, no,
you can put them through a treacherous...
You can strengthen it.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe strengthen it. Because what I'm saying is it has to be there, though.
It's like, there for everyone.
Yeah.
I promise you, what we're talking about, everybody on earth has it. It's just that they don't nurture it. They don't
Please believe me, they don't.
You think so?
And I'm telling you, I know so, Bilal. What you've endured in life, what you have particularly as an individual endured, how many Nigerian people have come through what you've come through and achieved what you've achieved?
Yeah.
Some people, they fall at the first hurdle.
That's
You
what
got to
I'm
the
saying.
first hurdle, you might have fell at the first hurdle, but you got up, you dusted yourself down,
I
you got
agree
over
with
it,
you.
you got around it, and you went on to the second hurdle.
I agree.
You know, so
But those people that fell, right, at the first hurdle, right, if you can show them and push them through more hurdles that they will fall and teach them how not to fall and make them suffer a little bit longer, you will strengthen that thing.
but
that
they-
we're talking
I think
about.
what Joe's saying is that some people just haven't got that
haven't
in
got
them.
it.
You
They haven't
can't.
got
You
it.
can't give. You can't give them that.
It
That's
might
what
be
I'm
in
saying
them,
to you.
you might be right, it might be
You
in them,
don't
but they
see that
haven't-
because you're born with it.
Maybe that's true.
You're born with it, so you don't see it.
Maybe
But I
don't
understand what
see
Joe's
it because
saying.
I
like,
have it.
You know, when you can't install that special gift from God, as in like that. Whatever it is, that can't be installed. You can't strengthen that. Like Joe says, you fall at that first hurdle, and let's say one of them will get up and 9 of them will stay down. Why does that one get up and 9 stay down? You go, what is the difference there?
Yeah.
It's just like you can't get. If you go get yourself up, they'll look at you and go, "I'm not getting up. I'm done."
This
I
says it all,
can't do it.
Bilal, right? This says it all. The word fear. Let's just look at the word fear. There's 2 spellings of the word fear. The normal person, the average Joe, spells the word fear. Forget everything and run. Fighters like you, Spencer, myself, spell the word fear. Face everything and rise.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that separates.
The 2 fears.
Do you understand?
I agree.
You know, so every individual has their own DNA, right? Whether it be the fingerprint, whether it be the blood, we're always recognized by our own DNA.
Yeah.
But that DNA of the fighter is one. Do you understand? Fighters are one. Do you understand? Whether it be female or male, it's one. Do you understand? Fighters are of the same mold, the same.
Spirit.
Yes.
When we talk now, though, where we're at presently, you still don't have a passport, but
Oh,
yet,
yes.
Oh my God.
but yet you are British and Commonwealth champion.
I know.
You captain England. You got asked to go to the Olympics, but you couldn't again
Yep.
because of this passport situation. What is the latest? Where do we go from here, and what have you been told is happening behind the scenes for it?
What I am aware of is I am given a 10-year route to settlement. But when that 10 years elapse, my career boxing is over. I'm 37. So when that
But
10
what,
years...
can you explain that a little bit more? Like what that actually means? Like, does that mean that you gifted a passport, or you haven't
No,
got a
not a
passport? Can you
passport.
travel? Can you not travel? What happens if you win a world title here and you've got to defend it, let's say in the US?
I can't do it.
Well, this is insane.
I know.
That's my point.
I mean, I got given a work permit, not a travel document, not indefinite leave. I got given a work permit to work and stay in the country because I can't get taken anywhere. Nigerian embassy don't recognize me. Lebanese don't recognize me. So I am in a prison in this country. So I can't get taken anywhere. I got given 10-year route, but I've been here 24 years.
Yeah.
Why not take the 24 years that I've been here and extract that from the 10 years and then give me the citizenship and let me, start my life? No, they didn't. So here's the funny thing, right? On Saturday, when I became the British and Commonwealth champion, right? In the morning, the BBC Sports released an article. It was on the front page. Now, the BBC went to the Home Office and asked the Home Office, why did you give Bilal a 10-year route to settlement when you have the route for 5 years? You have the route for 1 year. Why 10 years? Why extend it to that length? The Home Office, okay? They said, we do not comment on individual cases, but we can tell you that we did not make the decisions.
But that leads to the question of
So
who.
who made the decision? If the Home Office is telling the BBC that they did not make the decision on my case, who made the decision to put me on a 10-year route, to label my nationality still as Nigerian?
but yet you represent our country as an amateur. You become a British champion.
I
as a
captain
pro.
England. Yeah, I fought for the country. And when I was in the detention center twice, the Nigerian embassy told the Home Office that I am not a Nigerian, that they should stop bothering them. I represented myself in court in the detention center against the Home Office. The judge told the Home Office that they have to release me instantly, that there is no need for me to be there because there is nowhere to take me to. Nigerian embassy said I'm not a Nigerian. Lebanese said I'm not. So why am I being held? When they released me, guess what nationality the Home Office gave me?
What?
Nigerian. That ruined everything. Because if they had given me stateless, because the Home Office said, because Nigerian embassy said I'm not a Nigerian, automatically I became stateless. The Home Office labeled me a Nigerian. It's still on my record now. How? I don't have a Nigerian passport.
Yeah.
I can't go to Nigeria, but I am still recognized as a Nigerian in the law of the Home Office, in my paperwork. That ruins everything.
So what is the process now? Like, where do we go from here? Is it a case of getting the British Boxing Board of Control to try and campaign on your behalf, getting Matchroom and Eddie Hearn? Is it doing media like this? Like, what is your plan now going forward to try and get them to take notice and make a change?
The thing is, right, I can scream as loud as I want. Okay? The Home Office have the decision to hear me or ignore me, no matter how loud I scream or get the campaign or get this, get that. They can decide whether they want to give it to me or help me, or they can decide whether not to. Now, I went to a lawyer. For me to have the work permit, there's a guy called Ahmed Aid. This man saved my life. He went and took the Home Office to court. Okay, look. The Home Office paid me compensation.
For the years that you had lost not being able to work?
For incarcerating me in the detention center. Okay? Now, if they did that, it means they know they were in the wrong.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
agree.
You agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, so why are they not showing me kindness? Now,
Doesn't make sense, Joe, does
exactly. Ahmed Aid gave me a work permit from the Home Office because we took the Home Office to court. And the Home Office, they call it the judicial review. A judicial review, which means you are taking the Home Office to court. And if the Home Office sees that they don't have a way of winning, they will come to a mutual beneficial agreement. Now, I went back to Ahmed Aid and I said, look, the Home Office made me Nigerian. I need to travel. I don't have a work. I mean, I can't travel for work. £28,000.
When
I can't afford it.
When Frank Warren approached you and wanted to sign you, what was the conversations then? Because obviously you couldn't take that contract because you weren't able to work at the time. When you brought it to the Home Office or whoever you needed to bring it to, what was their response? What did they say?
Their response was, we understand you are a boxer and you are not special. This is their word. You are not special. You have to wait your turn. Which means there are people that are in front of me that have applied for this, applied for that. Me waiting my turn took 24 years.
That's insane.
Wow.
Isn't that?
And it's frustrating for you because I can imagine you're sat here now with these belts, right? They've been a long time coming. But had you have had that opportunity with Frank years ago, do you think about where you could be right now if you had have had that opportunity then?
I would be comfortable. I would be happy. I would be retired by now. I will have a house.
Listen, I think looking on the flip side, God has a plan and this may be the plan for you. Now you've picked up these belts. Let's hope that, you get your citizenship, you're allowed to travel, you can go on and win bigger and better things. I mean, you're in a great position right now, Bilal, as in with this.
I am
with
indeed.
The boxing. Sure, in a great position with that. And, you're only one fight away from a massive
world
fight.
title.
You really are.
I am indeed. I am in a great position. Perhaps somebody in the Home Office can do the right thing. There is this lady, right? The Minister of the Home Office, Shabana Mahmood, right? I shook her hand I went to the House of Parliament to speak to you know, and I saw her. She was in front of me. I shook her hand and I said, "Hey, Shabana Mahmood, please, can you help me? My case is a very peculiar case and it needs a very, very different perspective to look at it." And she said, "Bilal, don't worry, I'll have a look at it." No response.
Do you feel a pressure now? I know you don't have your passport yet, but you're 37. Do you feel a pressure to achieve everything you want to achieve within the time frame? Because you would have wanted this years ago, but you're getting it now. But boxing does have a time span on it, and you are getting older now. Do you feel that?
I do. But my performance don't feel it though.
How old are you now?
37.
37.
I thought you got it wrong there when you said 37.
Yeah, do you know what though? That shows the character that you are, though. You know, like you say, then you know, age being just a number. And Joe,
Yeah.
I know
Whatever you
look-
cheer
bloke-
on your own, keep taking it, because I tell you now,
Yeah,
you don't look 37, young man.
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Wow.
it's incredible. It really is, you know, and it's just like we just hope
You're drinking
you know,
from that
things sort
fountain of
itself
youth,
out
that's
you.
for sure.
I am indeed. I just hope it.
You really deserve it, mate. You really do. I've known you for many years now.
Yes.
I've known your story, and you know, I've known your struggles that you know to try and get what you deserve, and you should get it. And we really mean that, mate. We hope that you get your just rewards now.
I just hope somebody will help me.
Yeah.
I need someone to show compassion,
Yeah,
sympathy.
do what's right.
Exactly right.
Come on.
For goodness
Come on.
gracious sake.
Yeah.
I am not saying I want to go and take the passport and do wrong. I literally am the British and Commonwealth champion.
Yep.
Who has the British and Commonwealth champion and don't have a citizenship of the country?
The guy can't even go, like, listen, Joe, when we win titles and you do things like, you go, you know what? That's been hard. That's been grueling. You know what training camp's like. You know how hard it is, how military it is. You go, I need a holiday. I want to go on holiday. This guy can't even go on holiday.
I've never achieved what you and Bilal achieved, Spencer. I dreamed about it. Every fighter that climbs into the ring
Oh, 7
dreams
hours.
about. I was Irish champion, I suppose. It was my little world title, you know.
Yeah.
But
listen,
every champion, every fighter that climbs into the ring dreams about becoming a champion of the world, you know. And
Yeah.
you're up there now. You're a number 1, number 2, number 3 contender for the title. You have to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Right? So you're a number 1, number 2, number 3 contender for the title. And if the opportunity came up to fight for a title abroad,
I can't
and
do
for
it.
them to take that away from you because of a passport situation that's been going on for the length of time that it's been going on for, it would be so wrong.
Yeah.
It would be so wrong.
absolutely.
You know, it was like the 1980 Olympics. The 1980 Olympics, athletes had trained for the 1980 Olympics, and because of political issues with Russia and America, the American team didn't travel to Moscow for the 1980 Olympics. And then politicians deprived them athletes of competing in the Olympics, going into the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. Politicians in every country have ruined and hindered and upset so many athletes' careers, you know. And if you don't get to fight for the world title, you know, and please God win a world title because of some political stupidity, because it's stupid from what I'm listening to, it's stupidity.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't get the opportunity, because it's going to be difficult to get it in your own backyard. You might have to travel for the title.
Yeah.
You might have to go out to Saudi. Saudi seems to be the place now where it's all happening. And fair play to the Saudis. You know, they're making the fights that people want to see. And if you don't get to travel or to get the opportunity to go and fight for that world title because of some political stupidity, it would be such a tragic,
Devastating.
devastating story. Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. That's
Absolutely,
What I know.
that's what I said. It's God's plan, and you've gone and picked these belts up now, and let's hope now, you know, it started creating some more noise. And
Fingers crossed somebody watching
Absolutely.
this. Fingers crossed somebody watching this
I
that
pray.
has a bit of political influence that can make something happen. You know, if somebody's watching this, take this man's story up, act, do something.
It's not even hard to act on. You've only got to look at the story and go,
Well, I'm hearing it for the first time
What the
today.
hell is going on here? Do you know what I mean? It's actually, it blows my mind. Like I say, I go back to knowing Bilal from when he was an amateur, knowing his story, knowing his background, knowing his hardship, knowing how he's got it, knowing what he's doing.
But every day
You go,
in the
come
news,
on, man.
every day in the news, headlines, refugees, headlines every day in the news for the last number of years. You know, this man isn't a refugee.
No,
this man is a
absolutely.
champion. This man has been here for 24 years. 24 years.
Representing our country, Joe, amateur and now British professional champion. It's just like, it's barbaric. The story's insane.
It's horrific.
It's
Yeah,
crazy,
you're right.
It actually doesn't like.
It doesn't really compute.
If this was a movie and I was watching a movie, I'd say it was too far fetched.
I'm sitting here.
Turn this crap
It's a
off.
lie. It's
Turn
a
this
lie.
crap off.
I'm
It's too
sitting
much.
here.
I can't watch it.
I'm sitting next to the man and I'm still finding it hard to believe. I'm sitting next to him, you know, and he's got such an honest face. He's got such an honest sincerity.
He's a beautiful
you know?
soul,
Yes,
a beautiful human being.
You can see it in him. He's speaking from there.
He's
He's
not
speaking
got bad
from
in
there.
him, Joe. He's just a
Speaking
good
from the
soul.
heart.
I just need help, man.
Yeah.
I just need help.
Well, look, before Joe, we go on to your story, one of the things, Bilal, I want to get your opinion on is Eddie Hearn has obviously taken you under the Matchroom banner, and you've shown a lot of appreciation to him for that. One of the news topics this week has been Conor Benn leaving Matchroom to go to Zuffa Boxing, Dana White's new promotional company. What do you make of the situation surrounding Conor leaving Matchroom, considering what Eddie and Matchroom have done for him throughout his career?
Money. He got 10 million, right? And he probably doesn't have loyalty, or maybe something happened along the way that made him decide to behave that way. When I won the belt, we were having an interview in the motorsport arena in Nottingham, and I sat down in front of all the press, and I swore, I gave Eddie Hearn my heart, and I said, Eddie, look, you gave me a helping hand when no one else would sign me. You gave me a contract. You treat me like, you know me for so many years. I give you my word. I will never do what Conor Benn did to you. I'm with you. You take care of me. You treat me well. I'm with you till the end. I mean, why didn't Conor Benn have a discussion with Eddie before he left? Eddie had to find out on social media.
Yeah.
I think I'm the newest face of Matchroom.
There we go.
Absolutely. Listen,
The future of Matchroom.
I mean, I'm entertaining.
One thing's for sure, you've got character, which is what you need.
Yeah.
A lot of charisma,
Yeah.
inside and outside of the ring.
And I'm not
And
a
you
fluke.
can fight.
And I'm not a fluke.
And he looks like a movie star, Joe. What are we going to do, mate?
I'm not a fluke.
Absolutely.
I'm not gay in any way, shape, or form, but the man is very, very handsome. You're a marketing dream.
Listen.
You know, you should be signed up, snapped up by a marketing company. The endorsements that you could do for. Listen, I've seen fighters go to the ring, you know, and you don't know whether to talk to them or read them. They've got that many logos on them, you know, right? And the thing is, you're made for marketing. You're articulate, you're handsome,
Thank you.
and you can fight.
I think it's
You
fair
know?
to say. I think it's fair to say, Joe, that it's not enhanced our reputation on this podcast, sitting in between this man here as Edo, you know. Do you know what I mean? People watching this now.
I'm glad it's not a
looking
beauty
at him, looking at
contest.
us here going, yeah, that boxing's a tough old game, isn't it?
Well,
I had nothing to lose when I started boxing. I wasn't.
you know what? Maybe everything happens for a reason, because
Yeah.
maybe boxing is not what will get me to the point that I think I should be, that I feel I deserve. Maybe it's
the modelling career.
a movie, maybe
I,
it's anything.
I said to you this off air, didn't I? I said, like, boxing really is just the umbrella. Your story is far bigger than that. Boxing's a very minute part of it.
Yeah.
Boxing's highlighting your story, really,
Yeah.
your inspirational story and your character as a person. Because like we said there, and it's not blowing smoke up your ass here because you're sitting there, you're a beautiful human being.
Yes.
You're a great soul. You're a good soul.
Yes.
Right. And to be that from where you come from and whatever, you could quite easily have been the opposite.
Lost.
You
Yeah.
could have been quite easily the opposite.
Yeah.
Not a nice person
Yeah.
that felt that the world owed him, but you don't do that. Like, you know, I think that is far bigger than boxing's just a small part of this. And once this journey's finished, you're 37 years of age now. Let's say you go on for 3 years, you turn into a little bit of a Bernard Hopkins type fighter, and you know, you do what you do. But it's a short career that you've got ahead of you. but your life after that is going to be the
Yes, I
journey. This is
think-
just helping
yeah.
you along the way.
You're right. You're really right. You're painting a picture that I can see now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think you're right.
Absolutely.
Boxing is just a
It's very minute part of your story.
Yes. My man.
Yeah.
Look, talking of stories, Joe, I want to talk about you and your story. Before we go backwards, I want to start with present day. You spoke earlier about bullies and
Yes.
how they bring out this emotion in you and,
Yes.
and frustrate you. One of the people that you are constantly back and forth with or in the headlines with is John Fury.
Yes.
And I know people have labelled him as a bully before. I
He's a
think
bully.
you've said that yourself. What is the friction with John? Because I think originally, am I right in thinking that you were friends or you
Yes.
were amicable, but now you have a different relationship?
There's a great respect amongst fighters. Boxing doesn't just give you self-respect. It gives you respect for your opponent. And that's a very important thing to have in life. Self-respect and respect for others. John Fury has no respect for anybody. He doesn't even respect his children and what they've achieved. You know, his son Tyson, heavyweight champion of the world. And even the way he describes the vulgarity in the way he describes his son. I don't know whether I'm allowed to use the wording. Can I use the wording?
You can use whatever you
He
want, mate.
says he came from my spunk. Right? What a horrific. I've got no children. All my brothers and sisters all have children. But if I did have a child, if I did have a son or a daughter, I wouldn't describe that that's where they came from. They came from a blessing from God. Do you understand? A man claims to be a religious man and he doesn't state that his sons, his daughters came from a blessing from God. Right? And even the two children that he acknowledges, Tyson and Tommy. You know, Tyson because he's achieved greatness. Tommy because he's achieved so much. You know, fair play to both of them. Right? But he doesn't acknowledge any of his other children, if he even knows their names. You know, the man's a sad man. He's a glory hunter. Do you understand? That's what he is. He tries to steal the thunder of his two sons.
Why do you think that is, though? Like, we see him at press conferences. We're always at these events where we see the antics with John.
You see his conduct.
But why do you think he acts like that? Is it because he wants the
He's
attention?
jealous.
Is he trying to, take the pressure off Tyson's shoulders by turning the cameras onto him?
Pressure
or-
off Tyson's shoulders.
Why
He
do you
adds
think-
to the pressure of that young man. Right, to that great champion, because Tyson is a great champion, an incredible champion. Not just what he's achieved in the ring, what Tyson has achieved in life to overcome his mental health issues.
Yeah.
Do you understand? To overcome what he's had to endure in life. You know, to be the role model that he is, to have helped so many people. He doesn't know how many people around the world with his achievements, how he's helped them. Do you understand? By coming through what he's come through. You know, that man is an incredible human being, Tyson Fury, right? And for John to go to these events, to throw tables in the air, to throw chairs in the air, to scream vulgarity at a press conference, at a weigh-in, when it's not his stage, it's his son's stage. You know, he's an embarrassment to the Fury family. He's an embarrassment to the travelling community. He's an embarrassment to the boxing world.
I find the relationship between Tyson and John an interesting one, because obviously John used to be in camp and used to help Tyson with his training.
He's
Then-
never helped Tyson with his training. Don't talk rubbish about helping Tyson. He's a hindrance to Tyson.
Yeah, because then
let me tell you
Tyson
something
removed
now.
him from camp.
Peter achieved greatness with Tyson, right? John jumped onto the gravy train when he came out of prison after gouging a man's eye out. Right, he went to prison in a fight. Now, I've been in fights, many fights. You've been in fights, Spencer. You've been in fights, Bilal. I don't know about yourself, Charlotte.
I've not
right?
been in fights.
Right? But you don't resort to gouging a person's eye out. That's just a tug. And the reason he gouged the man's eye out because it was a smaller man than him. And the man was winning in the fight. That's fact. And he resorted to the dirtiest tactic to more or less blind the man. That shows you what sort of a low life that he is. Do you understand? He came out of prison and he jumped onto Tyson's gravy train as such. Right? He's done nothing for Tyson, only give him life. You know, which is probably a great thing that he's done. Right? Peter was doing an amazing job. I went over to the fight against Klitschko in Germany. Right? And that was one of the greatest wins of a British fighter abroad. You know, Klitschko had ruled the world for 10 years. Tyson went into Germany, beat him in his backyard, and showed the world the brilliance of Tyson. You know, John didn't put that brilliance into him. John didn't help him get that brilliance. When he was in the corner with Andy Lee and Sugar Hill screaming over them two, like, they've forgotten more about boxing than what this man knows. He's hindered more training camps. He's hindered more training camps. And that's not because I don't like the man. You know, I'm only saying it because it's the truth. You know, he's never helped Tyson in a training camp. He hinders the training camp, if anything, because people are sort of afraid to voice their opinion on how to help Tyson because John overrides them. I could picture it in the training camp. Listen, at the weigh-in or at the press conference in Saudi, when the young Ukrainian Stan was cheering for Usyk, and John headbutted the man, stuck the nut straight onto them and bang with the nuts, right? And Tyson, when he came in and saw what the man had done and said to his dad, "You stupid," whatever name he called him, right? But then the next day, Tyson came in and went, "My dad was right, my dad was right." Now, to me, I've had respect for my father all my life. He's gone now, God rest him. I worshipped the ground that my father stood on. I worship the ground now that he's gone into. Do you understand? But Tyson, for some reason, to go from "you're wrong in what you've done" to suddenly "you're right," he wasn't right in what he done. You know, and that's not respect for your dad. Do you understand? You know, Tyson is a great champion, and I think he could do so much better without John in his camps. And for whatever's left in the tank with Tyson, you know, I hope he wins the next fight against, I can't pronounce the man's name,
Makhmudov, yeah.
Yes, another
Arslan
great fighter.
Makhmudov.
Yeah.
You know, he had a win there against Dave Allen, and Dave Allen, what a hard man!
What a character.
My God, what a hard man! He's a Rocky.
Absolutely.
That man's a Rocky
Absolutely.
story.
He's another great story.
Oh, Rocky story.
You know, like
I love that man.
Boxing is,
I love Dave Allen.
It's political stories, isn't it?
He's so laid back, you know, he's so calm, and he's great. But you know, with this fight coming up, if Tyson impresses, which I still think there's a bit left in the tank, I don't know who's training him now at the moment. John said he's gone out to Thailand. But as long as John's not screaming over their shoulders and people are afraid, because they seem to be in fear of John Fury. People seem to be scared. And the man is a bully thug. Like what he done to Steve Bunce. Disgraceful. Disgraceful.
What did you do?
I
To Steve Bunce. Tell me.
Shouted abuse at the man. John ran amok at a press conference, you know, screaming abuse like it was his stage. You know,
man.
it was his son's stage and his son's opponent's stage.
Based on what you're saying right now about this man, I can tell you he just needs a little bit love. Someone needs to give him love.
Love him and he's battering, that's what he needs.
Show him kindness, and that might change him. Because if a man is acting like that, it's because he's lost.
Yeah, maybe you might be right. Maybe I'm wrong.
well, listen,
You know, but I still like the way I'm thinking.
Joe,
No, he is what it is, because based on what you're saying,
I'd love to punch the living daylights out of him. You know, so there's a lot of people out there that want manners put on him.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the man to put the manners on him.
How close are we to that happening, though, Joe? Like, is
Well,
there
the
a
thing
conversation? Is there like Misfits involved? Is someone
Misfits offered a lot of money. Mams offered a lot of money
Yeah.
for the fight. There was talk of the bare knuckle fight. Conor McGregor's involved with a world organisation now, a BKB, World Bare Knuckle Organisation, and there was talk of a fight on the cobbles. I've had many fights on the cobbles. I wouldn't be afraid of John Fury on the cobbles or in the ring. I prefer it in the ring.
When you,
know,
talk about the organisations that are willing to put on this fight, you said Misfits had put up a good number.
Yeah.
You obviously don't have to give the exact number, but are we talking like millions of pounds?
Yes.
For it?
That's the money they're talking, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, but he's the big draw. You know, he's on the platform of the former heavyweight champions of the world's daddy. He's a lot better known than I am. I'm not saying that he's liked more than I am. He's probably disliked more than I am, you know, without a shadow of a doubt.
Whether you like to dislike, people tune in, don't
yes.
they? Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Like what the champions used to say, you know, putting bums on seats. You know, to view the fight, they would pay on the YouTube. This World Wide Web has opened up, you know, so many viewers for the fight game. People criticise the white collar boxers. I don't criticise them. I don't criticise Jake Paul or KSI, who I've met. You know, I've met KSI and a lovely young man. I think they're incredible because they've got the courage, like we spoke about earlier on, you're born with courage. They've got the courage to walk to the ring and fight, right? And they've opened up the world of boxing to an audience that might not necessarily have watched boxing before. If this fight came off with John Fury, it would be a nice pension fund for me. Win, lose or draw, it'd be a nice earner.
Yeah.
Then get it.
Yeah.
Then do it.
I want it,
Make it
Bilal.
happen.
Then
Yeah.
For
make
some
it happen.
reason, John
Look,
won't.
money's money. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Whether
Don't
it
I know
comes
it?
from left or right or up or down, it's money.
Works the same. Yeah.
If you
Hardest
really,
earned money in the world, boxing is.
Yeah.
but this is already, you already have a name. He has a name. If you really do want it, talk to the people. Let it happen.
Well, he's talking about boxing Carl Froch now. Carl is an incredible achiever, one of the greatest champions this country's ever produced, and a great human being into the bargain. And for John, like...
I want to ask you about that because all the time when they've been talking back and forth, John Fury and Carl Froch, Carl's always said, I don't need it, I'm not interested in it, blah, blah, blah. And it's been John constantly saying, let's fight. Carl has now turned around and said, okay then, let's have a fight.
That's because of the conduct of him.
But will John now take it, or do you think there'll be some reason as to why
Well, John will
won't
take the
do
fight
it?
without a
He'll
shadow of a doubt.
actually do it.
John will take the fight because it's a great stage for him.
Publicity.
Yeah, it's a
I
great
don't think
stage
he'll
for him.
do it.
I
I
think
think
he
there'll be a
would.
reason why he'll say, "Oh, I can't do it because of X, Y, or Z." I
If
don't
the
think he
fight
takes
was
it.
to be made,
he
it'd have
will
to be
come
made.
out as a coward.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but I
He's
think
too
that's
much pride.
been brewing much longer with yourself and John than it is with Cole. You go, so really, like if you're looking at it and you go, the sensible fight is you
It
and
makes
John.
more
It
sense.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
Well, the fight
And
that he's
it's-
got a
it's-
chance in is
yeah.
against me.
Yeah.
We've got, like I said earlier on, neither of us were any good. It'd be two Blackpool donkeys, fighting each other.
Don't say that.
No, it's true.
No,
but
don't say
listen,
that to
listen,
yourself.
I'm the biggest critic of myself.
Don't do
right?
that.
I know my own abilities, and John had limited ability the same as I had limited ability. I appreciate, what you're saying, and thank you.
Yeah.
But listen, it's like a Blackpool donkey trying to race a great Derby winner, right?
But you're a strong Blackpool
Carl
donkey.
Froch, yeah, but he's a strong Blackpool donkey as well.
But you are stronger.
But I'm not a Derby winner.
Don't put yourself down. I would
So
never
like
let
the
you do
strong
that.
Blackpool
Bilal,
donkey.
I would
thank
never
you,
let
thank
you do
you.
that
No, I
around
saw
me.
this
so much.
going.
I would never let you do
Thank
that.
you very much.
It's all
But
right.
I'm a big
You
critic
can
of
see the
myself.
thumbnail now. It's like a donkey.
There's
talking
two
about
more
that.
things I want to cover. You were talking about age there and
Yes.
coming back into the ring. One of the big names that keeps coming back at the moment, which you have direct experience with, is Mike Tyson. We saw him in against Jake Paul, and now there's rumours of him fighting Floyd Mayweather before Floyd goes on to take on Manny Pacquiao. What do you make of Tyson coming back and what you saw against Jake and where he's at the moment?
Well, Mike is obviously doing it for the money. When Cuss died, the vultures, the savages that took over Mike's career, I won't mention any names. Mike was abused so much outside of the ring by different promoters, managers, agents. And his riches, his fortunes that he earned the hard way were took from him, and now he's trying to earn so he can have a comfortable rest of life. And he'll have a substantial payday against Mayweather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Money Mayweather.
Yeah, well, talking about Mayweather, because now, Bilal, I'll put this one to you. He's coming back as well, so he's going to have an exhibition, I think it's in April or something, and then he's going to return to the professional game and take on Manny Pacquiao for that rematch.
Wow.
What do you make of that? Because that announcement dropped last night that they're going to fight each other in September in Las Vegas. What do you make of the rematch between those two?
I think it will be an iconic event, that. But the thing is, right, at that age, you can have a lot of injuries. And I'm not talking about physical one. I'm talking about brain injuries. And you're sparring for 4 weeks, you get hit in the head. And those two are titans. They carry the punch. So I feel the public will see it, but is it healthy?
Yeah,
Do
at
they
what
need
cost?
the money?
At what cost? You're saying?
Exactly.
So this fight, I hope, because all we ask for in life is a fighting chance. And Manny Pacquiao, the first time they fought, hadn't got that fighting chance because of injury. Take nothing away from Mayweather. Mayweather beat what was in front of him, but it was a wounded man,
Yeah.
right? Now this rematch, if they're both 100%,
I think it's an interesting one because you see Pacquiao had that 6-year layoff. He comes back, he boxes Mario Barrios for the WBC title, gets a draw, should have got the win.
Yes.
If I'm totally honest. And you go, actually, you can still see the kid can
you
fight.
can.
He's still got a bit in the tank.
Yes.
You go, and so now, Mayweather's up against it because he's done it.
He's a point to prove now, Manny.
Absolutely.
Manny has a point to prove.
But the
I
question,
think it's an interesting fight.
Yeah, it is. But the question is,
anyone that says they don't want to see it,
they're lying.
is a liar. Anyone that says they're not going to watch it is a liar.
the question is, are they doing it for glory or for the money?
I think it's
They both got more money they can spend in either lifetime.
Bilal, I'm going to use it again. It's one of those things. The boxer just can't.
Manny won't be able to sleep at night thinking
some of those guys
he beat me when I
just
wasn't well.
can't.
Get out of it.
And see, Joe said it earlier about Mike Tyson. When you're looking at it and you're going, I need some sort of, how do I find the focus, the direction, whatever it is, boom, and they latch onto it. If they get an opportunity, like he said, John Fury gets me out of bed.
But
John Fury makes me do that.
It could be slightly different for Floyd though, because there are reports going around at the
that
moment
he's
with
bankrupt.
bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So,
And he owes
although
300
I think Manny, yes, of course, he's going to love the payday and he's going to want to take the money. But I think with Manny, it's probably this is that thing that I want to settle for myself. Whereas with Floyd
is the
I
money.
don't think Floyd would have ever put himself in a position to fight Manny again because he's already won up. He
You're
would
right,
have.
Charlotte.
Last time I spoke to Floyd, he said to me, "I'm only taking exhibitions where they can't touch me, where I can
sure.
just go in there, I can dance around, they don't land a punch, I take a payday, I go home." Manny Pacquiao is not that.
Yeah.
So
Great
I
shout.
think that it must have something to do with these rumours that are going on about
When you get used to a
bankruptcy.
lifestyle, and Floyd Mayweather's used to this luxurious 5-star lifestyle.
It's hard to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
very.
how can he be broke?
But again, it comes from the way that boxers after their careers, sometimes they're not guided in the right way. Floyd's always been about the money, hasn't he? He's been showing the stacks of cash. He's been pumping money into different things.
Also, I think it's like the more money you earn, the more lavish the lifestyle becomes.
always want
the
the
bigger
next
the
thing.
upkeep
I
is,
heard
like the
he's a
bigger
gambler.
houses are.
He's a gambler.
And he is. He posts
so
that
he's
a
a
lot.
gambler,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
So-
big gambler. Yeah.
So maybe he might need the money for his lifestyle. And to me, have to is a horrible master. When you have to fight, because if you have to put food on the table, that's a different reason.
Yeah.
That's a different hunger, right? But when you're hungry just for that luxurious lifestyle, it's sad.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Look, well, guys, we've taken up enough of your time. So I really appreciate you both coming in. Been a great conversation. And hopefully we can do this again because I feel like there's so much more for us to talk about. But lastly, congratulations, Bilal, on winning these titles.
Congratulations. And onwards and upwards.
That's it.
Of course.
Right?
Brilliant.
Of course.
Even greater successes.
Absolutely. Indeed. I look forward to what's next.
Win that world title, young man.
I will.